Good morning, preppers. Welcome to Goshen Prepping. Welcome to beautiful, beautiful Michigan. My kids are at the park today, so I thought I'd come go ahead and hang out here with you and go over today's video subject, which is everyday carry. I've had a lot of people ask, what do I carry? And I try to keep things, honestly, kind of hidden and not let people know what's going on. But you know what, I want to share with you what I carry. Because here's the thing, when it comes to everyday carry, all of your everyday carry, in my opinion, should be so people don't see it. I know there's a lot of like tough guys who try to look like Rambo and try to intimidate by, you know, having all these things out and say, look what I'm carrying. And although I am truly for having our rights, I also think keeping things under your sleeve is actually a more important tactic, because I'm into survival. And I'm not talking about the survivalist who go out and wear camo everywhere. I have camo too. It's kind of a fashion statement now, but they always want to look like, you know, talk about the survivalist part. That's not the smartest thing in the world. You want to have like a lot of gray man type stuff when it comes to your everyday carry. In fact, even simply just wearing that type of stuff and trying to look intimidating is really a tactic that's going to try to drive things further and get things in a worse situation. Because when we look at everyday carry, by the way, everyday carry is not a get home bag. That's a totally different video. It is things you may need to survive out in our urban jungle or wherever you may be. Especially if things start getting bad, you want to have some things to be able to protect yourself and be able to take care of business. All that stuff, in my opinion, should not be out in the open. You want to keep it kind of concealed. And speaking of concealed, I'll tell you the first thing I'm going to, that I carry is I'm a 9mm kind of guy. I don't show it on camera. I don't show it on this channel. It's not even just YouTube, but I like to keep things a little bit more under the cuff. But I'm going to go through a whole bunch of stuff and go into survival so you can make it home, so you can actually make it through circumstances without trying to escalate. Because it's all about de-escalation, by the way. Somebody comes up to you and you start putting your hands out, that's a threatened thing. You know, try to de-escalate and try to bring things down, because you know what? Trying to go out and get into fights is not survival, it's stupidity. All right, let's jump into some of the other items that I carry. The first thing we have is a tactical pen. I'll put a link below for any things that I can put in links, so in case you want to pick one up. I love my tactical pen. I've got so many tactical pens, and you know, honestly, I take these through TSA in the airport as well. It's kind of funny going to martial art tournaments and stuff. I carry a tactical pen with me. These things are amazing. Besides for the fact that, guess what? I've got a pen, I can write down stuff. This point right here is extremely sharp, and it actually is all about using it tactically speaking to be able to render somebody, you know, into vulnerable spots. I put out a video yesterday about vulnerable areas. I'll link it after this one in case you want to watch it, because it's all about not necessarily inflicting damage, but even inflicting pain and causing so much problems that they basically give up on you. And if you end up having to decapacitate them, if you end up even doing something worse, then so be it. But you want to try to do as much damage with as little effort on your part as possible, and that's what this tactical pen does. Now, on that note, one of the things you may want to carry, it's up to you, is a flashlight. I don't carry a flashlight because, again, I'm not Rambo. I'm not going out and trying to carry every single thing with a duty belt and all that stuff. In my opinion, I think that's ridiculous. I'm not saying a flashlight's not ridiculous. A flashlight's a good thing too, but when you have so much stuff to carry, it's crazy. The flashlights, however, if you do carry one, make sure it has the ridges on the end, so it's actually a tactical flashlight. One, it glows, it gives you light for what you need to do, but also can actually work tactically. And actually having a light into someone's eyes is a good advantage. Instead of actually carrying a flashlight, personally, I just have my phone, and I think that's something we always carry anyway. My phone has it so the light comes on. It works well in the dark so I can actually see where I'm going. I keep it charged up and off I go. So tactical pen, yes. Flashlight, it's up to you. And of course, having a phone is important too. Now, if you do happen to carry the tactical pen or a flashlight, don't think by carrying this, suddenly, I'm going to take care of business. You need to train, you need to practice. There are techniques and skills when it comes to these. You can't simply just take this and hope you swing and you're going to get someone, because what's going to happen is you're probably going to miss, they're probably going to take it from you, and now they have your weapon going against you. And that goes with all weapons, by the way. Okay, our next item, a handcuff key. Awesome. Now, let me tell you, handcuffs in reality are actually pretty easy to pick. You can actually pick them two different ways. Maybe I'll make a video on that later. But you know, here's the thing. If you're actually in a situation where you need to escape handcuffs, and I'm not necessarily talking about the police, by the way, you know, trying to escape from the police is not what I'm trying to condone. I'm saying keep things legal. But you know, people have handcuffs for a lot of weird reasons. And who knows, you may actually have some kind of pink fuzzy handcuffs on you as some kind of weirdo is trying to grab you. You know what I'm saying? So having a concealed handcuff key is a good thing. It's not illegal to have these by any means. And you know, you can conceal it in your pocket. actually in the hem of your pant leg is a really good place to keep one. They're super inexpensive, and that way you don't have to worry about trying to find stuff to pick the handcuffs, because again, picking handcuffs is a very real possibility. But why? You can pick up a key for next to nothing or a few of them and always have one with you practically wherever you go. The next item you might want to consider is a multi-tool. You can get the more expensive Leathermans, which hold up, by the way. It's one of the rare things where you actually pay for it and it's a really good thing, it pays more. I like to have a whole bunch of different ones. You can actually get much smaller ones than these. Having like all kinds of little tools in there obviously is very handy, but having this, it's not even simply just about survival, even though that's the case too. It really just helps you in everyday life. Now, with survival, it does have in here obviously a knife blade, which I'll be honest with you, people who carry this and said, I'm gonna use my knife blade, you're asking for trouble. The knife blades in these are not in a situation where it's going to be like a foolproof weapon, because on this, the knife blade does move and it doesn't give you a really good handle. We'll talk about knife tactics in a little bit. So having a multi-tool, sure, it's a good thing, but don't think the knife part of it's going to save you. In fact, there's a lot of problems with people when it comes to knives. And the problem with knives that people have is flashiness, showing, or what's called brandishing. Even with firearms too, by the way. But look, I have here a butterfly knife, and you think, oh, that looks really cool. Or people love to buy like switchblades or stilettos, etc. I would recommend not getting any of these. This is fun, but is not very good tactically. Even ones that actually have some kind of spring attachment to it, like stilettos or switchblades, you're asking for trouble. You want to make sure that knife is firmly fixed so it can actually do what it needs to, and of course get you out of a situation. Or some people consider knives that actually fold out and lock. Locking is a good thing. And I'm not saying this knife couldn't take care of business if need be. And I'm not saying also that even just the folding out process causes a lot of problems. But for the fact that it does take a little bit of time and there's always a possibility of failure with a blade, honestly, having knives that flip open, if you can't carry a fixed blade knife, then sure, one of these may actually work really well with you. This one personally, it's not a bad little knife, but in my opinion, when you're gonna do an everyday carry, you want to make it so it's as least impactful on you as possible. So therefore, another knife you want to look at is having more of like a smaller concealed one like this. Nice and flat, it has a good grip to it, has a clip, which isn't always the best thing, by the way, for your pocket, and it does flip open and locks open. So that's good. It's a nice little knife, so you can do it. It needs to be done. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm tactically trained in knives, taking knives from people, using knives on people, and it's something I've studied extensively in my martial arts. And when it comes to knives, people think knives are about stabbing, they're about stabbing. They're not. Stabbing someone, which you don't want to do. Again, I hate the violence and all that stuff, but you know, if you're protecting yourself, you have to do what you can. It's not about stabbing, it's about stabbing and slicing. You stab and turn and slice, stab and turn and slice. And that's what they're all about. And when it comes to having a good handle on a knife, and again, if you ever want to look at possible training techniques for knives, I'm happy to do that in a video too. Having any type of knife that flips open, in my opinion, is not your best bet. So you will find me carrying those kind of knives on occasion, but I prefer, when I can, having a fixed blade knife. Now, a fixed blade knife in this situation has what's called full tang. The actual metal for this goes all the way down, and then you'll see the screw holes going in there holding on the blade. This is a great knife. Again, it's good for pushing and slitting, which is going to incapacitate your person coming after you. So having a fixed blade knife is great. Now, carrying something like this around all the time obviously may not be so advantageous. I get that. And so you may have to decide what you want. Is it something you can carrying something like this around all the time, or would actually be a fold-out knife work a little bit better for you? Then the last thing I carry is about 200 bucks in cash. In 10s are better, in 20s at least you have some, because even though your get home bag is different and you actually use it obviously to get home, having some cash in situations obviously be advantageous, not to mention a credit card as well. You have no idea what possibly might be coming down the pike. So having things like that would be advantageous to be able to get you out of a tight spot. Now, I know a lot of people put things like paracord, that's a Rambo thing. You know, you're you're 30 minutes away at work and now crap hits the fan, you're gonna stop off and go fishing on the way home. I'm being facetious. Obviously, paracord can be used for other things too. Some people carry lighters with them and they actually use it as a weapon. I'll tell you right now, in Krav Maga, what we study is everything can become a weapon, not simply just a lighter inside your pocket. But they always say, have a lighter too so you can light someone's cigarette. I don't know. It seems like again, now you're turning in just carrying a few things with you, because you have to live like this, by the way. You know, have you ever been on a diet and you try to go on the diet and you lose weight, then after like a month you go off it? It's because your lifestyle was too much to ask for. And when it comes to everyday carry, it's the same thing. You don't want to have so much stuffed in your pockets on your belts that it gets to the point you're like, this is unsustainable, and you give it all up. So I don't carry a flashlight with me. It might be a good thing to carry. I don't carry paracord, I don't carry a lighter, and a whole bunch of other stuff people carry, by the way, too, like a little tin can, that's like all the rage now, a little Altoid can with 32 Boy Scout gadgets in it. Carry that stuff in your get home bag and keep that in your car if you need that kind of stuff, in my opinion. The key is to survivability, and I'm talking about being in the military, being in a lot of situations where you have to, you know, it's all about survival. Being light on your feet, being able to run and get away is sometimes more important than what you carry inside your pockets. But anyways, what would you put on the list? I'm sure some things too that you might have for your everyday carry. And what would you suggest that I might want to carry or somebody else? Put them in the comments below, and thanks for watching.